welcome to the Mani and Fariha show. I am Fariha and this is Mani.
Of course, and you all know that. And so did you lately actually go, I am the one who's back from vacation. Yes. So it's always, back and forth.
One or the other.
Absolutely. We have a wonderful, wonderful summer. As you all know, being a Canadian, we enjoy all four seasons and we always talk about them. So last time it was
summer is truly my favorite.
Exactly.
That's all I have to say.
Everybody's favorite.
I'm still trying to
being in winter.
I don't know.
Yeah, the people, those who actually come to visit us, they always say you only get two seasons here, winter and construction, right? We always get to hear that from the visitors.
That is a very Canadian joke, but nonetheless, I think that winter truly has its own charisma. We can go skating and skiing and the winter activities. I personally like to make snow angels in the fluffy snow once it's first fallen. Yeah, so me.
And not to forget, I love taking naps. So while she's making angels, I'm taking naps.
That's okay. I'm waving at her. So it's all good. She has the hot chocolate prepared for me for when I come in and the fireplace running and keeping us warm. Yes. But yeah, for the extension of summer, I felt very feathery today and I have my feather earrings. And as you can see, I still have the beads in my hair from Mexico. And I've been getting questions like, when are you going to take them out? And I was like, well, I kind of like them, so I'm going to have them forever. But the truth of the matter is, I don't know how to take them out. So maybe Mani can help me out, for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but they look lovely. Actually, let them come off by themselves. As long as you keep washing your hair.
Yeah. I've maintained the washing. As you can see, my hair is a little wet right now as well. But a lot has happened over the summer, and we have an amazing guest who we had before, and now he is back from his adventure in the Himalayas. And Mani and I have been keeping apprised of his activities on Facebook because he has been up to so much. And I could share and share and share because I'm equally excited as he is. But we will let him share of his own accord. Welcome, Sultan.
Welcome back to our show. So we have been keeping tabs on the Facebook, and looks like you have been completely in another world. So what had been happening?
It's been an amazing journey. So thank you for having me back. It's always good to talk to you, and the positivity you've been sending me across my journey. Thank you.
We're with you in spirit all the time.
I felt it. I mean, it's, positivity has a way of getting on a plane and being there in seconds. So
absolutely.
It was amazing. As, we talked about before, I was en route to Nepal to write about my transformation from leaving the corporate world and setting up Experience Your Life. And the idea was to make my way to the Everest Base Camp and to complete my book. Well, surprise, all that changed. I did not go to the Everest Base Camp, but I felt that life provided me an experience that allowed me to do something that felt like climbing the Everest itself. And that was building two libraries, one in Kathmandu and one deep in the Himalayas.
And you actually built them from scratch. We saw that.
Yes. So basically, to be very honest with you, I flew into Kathmandu. I didn't know a single person. And I like to travel like that sometimes, where you just let experiences come to you as opposed to sometimes having an agenda. I was going to leave Kathmandu after 2 days en route to the Everest Base Camp. And I saw something, Mani, the night before that I just couldn't go. And what I saw were these, in the middle of the Darbar Square, that's the beautiful place in Kathmandu, there was a school that had a big crack on it, and there were kids playing football in front of the school, but they were playing with water bottles because they didn't have a ball. And you could clearly see that the school needed help. And the school, I could see even from a distance, was an oasis for these children, because guess what, 2 hours ago the school had ended, but they still hung out and they were still having fun. So I walked in, I walked up to the principal and I said, what can I do to help? And, they were surprised. They said, who's this dude walking up? They said, are you an NGO? I said, are you, with the World Bank? Are you with this? I said, I am just someone who loves, people, and that's it. And I just want to see what I can do to help. So we did a walk around in the school, and they showed me what what was brought together only 6 months ago. The school had been there for 30 years. And 6 months ago, they had created a little shelf, what they call the library. That shelf, I'm not even kidding, was 3 feet by 3 feet with books that were all torn up. And the teachers were really loving teachers. They were talking to me about how it would be wonderful to have books with color in them. And these are things you take for granted. These are, and they're good educators. They were like, they understood the psyche of the children. They were like, if there's more color, I've noticed the child looks at it longer. And long story short, my friend, 2 hours later, we had our project.
The project was
building the library. Yes. Yeah. And blueprinted the process. We started the project. We set up a team. And I can tell you that somewhere in the middle of all that, I literally felt that a bigger force took over, told us all to get out of the site, and just completed the project for us.
Yeah. Divine intervention.
It was just amazing. It was, day one, we had all the electricity done. Yeah. Overnight, the student came and they painted all night. So the school, number one, donated a room for the library. Electricity got done that day. We had all the painting done. The book publishers, I went and contacted them in Nepal. They all joined hands. The local businesses joined hands. The local government officials joined hands.
That's and beautiful.
4 days later, our library was done. 7 days later, when we had our inauguration, there were 300 people and there were tears all around.
Wow.
So,
and I could not see the progress on the Facebook, that he was posting. And then it was built, and I was amazed. Like 4 days later, I'm like, "Is this serious that you're posting that library is already built?" And I was just amazed that how quickly this work was turning around. And how about the books? Did they actually end up getting books too?
Yes, it's all furnished. It's all done. There are 1,000 books in there.
Amazing.
These are books that we got from local publishers. Yeah. And I'll tell you a story about this. So I asked the children to give me a list of books they would like to read. So context, these are children that the society largely puts a label of, these are government schools, sons and daughters of fruit vendors, not smart type of labels, right? That's the perception in the society. Yeah. And I took these children to this room and I said, jump. And they all jumped. And somebody jumped this much, somebody jumped this much. I said, jump higher. And everybody's having fun, everybody's jumping. But the message was, I said to them, this is a room with no walls, and this is a room with no roof. If you jump using the content and you jump using your mind, you can jump through the sky. And it's personal why I say that. I'll mention that. I'll double click on that comment maybe towards the end of the show. But
just box it for now.
Yes, but I literally felt that this project gave these children a well of knowledge that they would be able to tap into. But to continue the story, these children, Fariha, they wrote books that I took to the biggest publisher in Nepal. He became a friend of mine. He's on my Facebook. Yeah. Big shout out to Lokesh. Okay. But I gave him that list, and his jaw dropped. I was like, he said, "Did you come up with this list?" I said, "No, this is the list from grade 9 and 10." He said, "These books, I'm shocked that the children are asking for them because these are brilliant." And even in the best private schools in Nepal, these books, people don't even have awareness that they exist. The Diary of Anne Frank, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, astronomy,
so
astrology.
These are what they were asking for.
Yes.
That's really amazing.
And it's amazing that how actually these kids know about this book. They knew about all of the... Where did they get the access to this information?
Well, you know what? This school was a lot more to them than just a school. Yeah. It was the platform to build their lives.
And definitely
the way that advantage of everything.
Definitely the way that you describe it, that even though school was over, they were still hanging out. So it truly was a hub for them.
It's an oasis. That's what I looked at. It's like a little shelter in a desert. And I could feel that love. One big shout out I'll do is Sumitra. She was.
And who is Sumitra?
So she was one of the original teachers that was really an anchor for the whole project. Her excitement was out of this world, and she then told me in the project that she's a product of that school. And she basically studied there. And one day, probably one of my most amazing experiences was we walked. So I became a Nepali, eh?
Yeah.
Like when you'll see.
Of course you did.
That's funny. I became a Nepali, eh?
A bit of Canadian in there, right? Canadian, Nepali.
So basically I was running all around Kathmandu, buying things, negotiating, and working with my local team. And one day she took me to the corner of a place in Kathmandu, and we got dry fruits from a fruit vendor, and she proudly mentioned, Sultan, I want you to meet my mom, who's the reason for why I've become a teacher, and I'm now the light that's illuminating all these lives. But her mom worked as a dry fruit seller to support her, and now she's supporting all these children. And when I saw all that love, and I saw a need, a very specific need to build this, I felt if I continued down my original plan, it would be synonymous to a person who's thirsty, who has heard that there is this lake up there, who's walking towards it, and just walks by all the rivers that you see and don't drink. So a giant reset button was pushed, and I said, I'm not leaving Kathmandu till this library gets done. And it got done in 1 week. The soup to nuts.
There was a reason for your visit and for your cancellation. It's all well planned.
Exactly.
By the bigger power. That's what we all say, right? The universe inspired it to be that way.
Exactly. As exactly. Like that's actually a quote I mentioned. I said, I literally felt like the universe conspired, as it says, in The Alchemist, like to make this happen.
That's exactly what it sounds like. All the cooperative components
somebody was
came
praying
together.
for you to visit that place for so long, and you didn't know that, and you just planned it the otherwise, and it just happened.
It did, and you know what? The beauty of this is, I truly feel that I did very little in this process, in the sense that now that library has local people looking after it. It was built by local hands. It was painted by local students, and there is a statement I'm making to challenge how we do social assistance, which is to empower the local rivers of empathy, of passion, of love, to fuel the flower of change, as opposed to imported distilled water that has to be shipped over and can only be brought in certain quantities. So I'm really proud of the fact that this project, I truly felt that when I left it, is now in such great hands. I've received updates. When I circled back 40 days later to this library, it had only grown better.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's truly self-sustained.
Yes.
That's the idea. Library in a week where the change agent is no longer needed. Beyond that, and of course you'll always be emotionally involved.
For sure.
But little did I know that the story was just beginning.
I can absolutely believe it. And we will continue with the story very shortly. We just cannot get enough of this gentleman. His stories are fascinating, riveting, and we are so delighted to have him here and sharing them with all of you. Before I proceed further in our conversation, because I know all of you are anxious to get back to Sultan, there's something that I was listening to earlier this week. It is from Abraham Hicks. And the particular recording that I was listening to states that there are universal forces focused right at you or at me.
Yeah.
And it is obvious that these universal forces were focused right at the school and at every person in the community in Kathmandu. And absolutely, they had the resources there, but it was you going there that was the impetus or the catalyst to get this up and running. So your part surely is tremendous, but that's what we have to gauge into, that everything that we need, and so many quotes out there, is always within us. And you are the lived experience of that. And I would say that just by you sharing this story, it can, go out to the masses. And sometimes we need that one person to come and bring it out within us, but it truly is within us all along. And as you were saying before we went to break, that the story just began at that point. So we're anxious to hear about how it progressed.
Sure. Thank you for those kind words. You're very generous. And truly, I feel that it was the positivity of the people that did this project with me that brought that change agent out in me. And I walked out of it with a lot more than I gave. So again, I will keep giving the credit where it's due, which is all these change agents that got together. But basically, I said, all right, I have to complete my book. There's so much more inspiration, content, and I was writing away. And, thanks to all those that had supported the book, such as yourselves, that led to these libraries being funded and being there. But what happened is
and even the fact, sorry to interject, that you went to write a book and now you're creating libraries, right? It's so perfect.
It gave me my purpose.
This is a chapter of his book too, right?
It probably already is.
Absolutely.
It became, the book is now renamed, I should say, from Experience Your Life to Library in a Week.
Yeah.
That is how transformative this whole experience was for me. And I basically took a bus to the end of the road system and I started on a 22-day track by myself. So everybody was like, you're crazy, you're going into the Himalayas and you're going into one of the world's famous tracks by yourself. And I was like, no, I have my thoughts with me and I have my backpack and everything. So bottom line is I got to the edge of the road system. I registered with the tracking safety system and I hit the trail. There is no other way in. There is no other way out. It's just around the big mountain and you take 22 days and you climb up to 5,000 meters and then you descend down, you pace yourself, and I was ready. So I was tracking all day, writing, finding shades. I wrote about, for example, the backpack that I was carrying. It was 45 pounds to start with, had 5 days of food, 4 days of water, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know you could get water every three hours. Yeah. So there are some things you have to carry. So you can see how it was a soul-searching experience. Yeah. Long story short, my friends, 5 days into the track, I came across the beautiful village of Tal, which has 200 people only. That's the only way to get to it. I walked late in the night. You'll see the video on my website. There are 5 dogs in the middle. Life is simple when you don't have a choice. You're by yourself. They're aggressive dogs. What do? You go straight through because you can't sleep outside. The next day, I walked in to this wonderful school that again was another oasis. And 2 hours later, at that point, I'd only taken a certain amount of money. I literally was running out of money. Was running out of time and things like that, but I saw that need and I said, we're going to build a library here. We're going to stress test
another library.
We're going to stress test the model of library in a week by putting it in a physically hostile environment where if you need a paintbrush, it has to come from 5.5 hours of a treacherous jeep ride away. Again, the same road system that I'd used 5 days to walk. Yeah. All the supplies have to come from there. We said, you know what, we start this project. Oh my God, just a life-changing experience. The whole village came together.
All 200 of them.
All 200, the painter is also, the goat herder is also the electrician. Everybody multitasks. Folks, 3.5 days later, our library was complete.
So in less than a week, it was done.
And I was adopted by the village. I want to call out one person who will see this show. Yes. Sir Sam. He's the principal, and he was the one who got up on the roof to patch the roof. He was the one who cleaned on the floor. He was the one who scrubbed the algae. And through his leadership, the whole village energized. So I was honored to do this project with you, sir. I haven't forgotten about you. Here we are. And he donated half of his own salary to the library. I mean, that's the commitment we're talking about. So now we have our second library deep in the Himalayas, and it has fueled my passion that I want to build 100 more around the world. I'm heading out to the Amazon in October to build our third library.
Amazing.
And then after that, the Sahara Desert, we're going to go to Morocco, we're going to build one. By building everywhere, we're making a statement that we don't care. Yeah. And that was, to qualify that, I said that in my opening speech in Kathmandu. I said, as the world divided itself in race, religion, color, caste, whatever, what we proved is that with love and compassion, anything is possible.
It truly is.
So that's really the initiative. The tourists, everybody I met just gravitated around the projects. There are medical students from Spain that are sending now boxes of books to these libraries. And I am at my expo on 17th September.
Yes.
We're going to officially launch this project.
That is so amazing and profound.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for doing everything that you do, Sultan, and for being here and sharing with us and for all of our viewers as well at large. Anything is truly possible when you put your heart and mind to it. So thank you for all of that. And also, you're mentioning the expo on 17th of September.
Yes.
It's coming up soon. And also, thank you. You have very generously provided us with a link that we can get the tickets complimentary.
Absolutely. I would encourage your viewers to get them as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Very proud of the facts. Again, the expo was how my transformation started 3 years ago. It is now the largest youth empowerment event in Ontario, if not in Canada. We have received greetings from our Prime Minister, whom I love and respect, our Premier, as well as we are now the largest representation of federal and provincial employers, including some very interesting exhibitors, such as my friends from Ecuador are flying in. And they represent a lodge deep in the Amazon. There are many...
And that's where your library is going to be?
Yes, that's where the library is going to be. And there are many innovative, so whether you are a young person looking for a job or you are a seasoned professional looking for an empowering travel experience that it really connects you with your soul, that's the one platform that we have everything. And this year we also have thousands of dollars in funding and grants in the Entrepreneur Accelerator Zone. So the idea is we right now stand at about 1,300 registrations. We will cap at 2,000, and every day we're getting a lot of them. So
and understandably so.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's amazing. So we will provide the expo information. It's going to be on the Mani and Fariha Show page and under this link that you're watching right now. And also you will be providing that on your Facebook page also?
Yes. So Experience Your Life would have a lot of posts. We're honored to have executives from Microsoft, Amazon, Oracle. Like in that one room that we have in the breakout, there are people that are running 10,000 people organizations. And young people, anybody would get unprecedented access to them in a roundtable setting.
That's amazing.
So if you go to Experience Your Life Facebook page, you will see all of those details. And you know what? I just want to say this with the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you for just the continuous positivity that has been oozing out of this relationship. And for all those people who are looking at life and going, I want to approach something that is transformative or do more good. I can tell you from personal experience, the beautiful people that have come in my life, such as yourselves, such as Marin, such as many, many, many others, have infused it with positivity. And so if anybody's out there successful in every shape or form, but just feeling a little bit empty inside, I would say do it.
Yeah. There's lots of projects to fulfill.
Absolutely.
Very much so. And I would say that it's bi-directional. What we give out just comes back.
It does.
Thank you so much, Sultan, for being here with us and
My
for
pleasure.
sharing your experience as well as Experience Your Life Expo. It is going to be an amazing, amazing event as people go back to school, back to universities. It could not be a better time. And I know that we're very short on time, speaking of time. So until next time, goodbye and God bless. We will have another amazing guest for you next week.
Thank you. God bless you. Bye.